We are live.
I think we're up, Suker.
I think we're up. Look at that.
Yeah, absolutely.
How is everybody doing?
Here we are.
Here we are. What a show we have.
Before we hit the intro, I just like to kind of meditate, relax, get ready for the show that lies ahead.
Yeah.
Take a little sip of water in our Suki and Scott show mugs, which make the perfect gift for Mother's Day.
Father's Day. Any day.
Easter Suki.
Any day.
Arbor Day. Tu B'Shvat, if you're following the Jewish religion.
What?
Never heard of Tu B'Shvat, Sue?
I don't.
My favorite religion.
Tu B'Shvat?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Tu B'Shvat.
Shvat.
Shvat. Tu B'Shvat, Suki.
No, I don't know what it is. What is it?
It's a Jewish holiday.
For?
It's like it comes around Passover. I don't really know what it's for. I just always loved the name as a kid. My father used to, we were very...
So many Yiddish words are so
We were very
fantastic.
unreligious growing up.
Yeah.
So my dad, who was like the least religious person, every time it's like something would be happening.
And what would he say?
He would, hey, Pop, how come we're going to, the diner today? Tu B'Shvat. We're celebrating. Tu B'Shvat. Everything he answered, everything was Tu B'Shvat.
I love you, Dad.
But anyway, so listen, ladies and gentlemen, as everybody starts to load up, here we are, new set, Suki. I think we have it down to where I think we're going to keep it like this for now.
I'm digging it. I've dug it. I've co-signed on it. I'm really happy that we're a part of this, and we have to thank our audience for being a part of it this whole 3-year journey. And so this is the next iteration of the Suki and Scott show.
And listen, we're already booked solid for this whole month, Suk. And we have amazing guests coming up all month long. And I feel like I've been saying that for 3 years because we've had amazing guests for 3 years. If you go all the way back to George Lopez, to Lou Gossett Jr. and Mary Lou Hunter. I mean, my God, we've had 700 guests on the show. And I've never been more excited than I am today because I finally got Stephen Bauer on.
And you've been working on this for a year or two.
Listen,
a year and a half, maybe?
Please. All right, listen, don't.
The biggest scar.
I'm going to ask you this question.
Okay.
Please give me the right answer. Don't be like my wife. Did you see SCARFACE?
Of course I did.
You've seen it at least once.
I've seen it like 7 times. It's
Suki,
one of my favorite movies.
Easily a top 3 movie.
Top 3 movie for sure.
Top 3 movie of all time.
Of all time in history.
Not to mention Ray Donovan, one of my top 3 TV shows of all time. And sometimes people come up to me, they think I look like Ray Donovan when I'm like I got the go. They say, hey, you look just like Ray Donovan, Liev Schreiber. I'm like, yeah, it's possible.
You and Liev.
Yeah. But
and Liev is like a big guy too.
Yeah. So Stephen Bauer is coming on. We have these, he's been in so many movies, Suk, and TV shows. Of course, we're going to play the Stephen Bauer trivia game with him to see how much he knows about the movies he's been in.
And he's dated some of Hollywood's elite.
He's done it all.
Which I know love going digging through the piles. What was it like seeing this person? What was it like dating? So anyway. So a big retrospective on Stephen Bauer's life.
Stephen Bauer, if you've ever tuned in for any show we've done, this is the one to do it. After Stephen, we got Patrick Myers, who literally, we were just talking to him before. He is Freddie Mercury.
He is Freddie Mercury.
He's Freddie Mercury and his
incarnate. For sure.
Their tribute band,
Killer Queen.
They sell out stadiums. You feel like you're watching Queen.
If you're a Queen fan, and now I think because of Disney, God bless it,
right? Yeah.
There's so many kids that love Queen.
Yeah, and the movie that we
and the movie Freddie Mercury,
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yep.
Right. So anyway, so those 2 fellas coming up. Stephen Bauer is here. Let's get this thing started officially because we got a few things to talk about. Jeffrey, hit the open in 3, 2, 1.
The Suki and Scott Show.
This is one of the funnest shows I've ever done.
Lady, when you're with me, I'm smiling.
It's musical. It's magical.
Suki and Scott, the 7 of Hearts. Woo! Exactly.
This is a sexy show.
Someone's getting some action.
Now, these larger-than-life personalities are on an exciting new journey as they bring you the Suki and Scott Show.
You guys nailed it. You're great. You ask great questions. You listen.
I answered you because I have respect for you guys, and it was a question respectfully put.
The Suki and Scott Show is your one-stop destination for humor.
You like De Niro and Cape Fear. Counselor!
Entertainment.
Jesse's girl.
Wonderful.
Can you paint with all the colors of the wind?
And you and optimism.
You guys have such amazing energy.
Ultraviolet light, it gets in there and it just fights. It just fights the kung flu. Is that right? Okay.
Let's laugh together.
I love him.
The Suki and Scott Show.
That's the best intro for a show I maybe have ever seen.
Really?
Your intro is fantastic.
Ah, yes, indeed, ladies.
Thank you,
and
Eric
gentlemen.
Roberts.
Eric Roberts is the man. Eric's been on the show, what, 3 times now?
3.
He's
Mary Lou's
fantastic.
been on it like
Mary
2,
Lou,
I think 2 or
couple
3, maybe.
Suki, welcome everybody to Suki and Scott Show. Man, what a show we've got today, Suki. I am so pumped up. I've been waiting to talk about SCARFACE forever.
Okay, so Stephen Bauer is one good-looking man.
He's a good-looking dude.
He's been good-looking from
good-looking.
maybe it's those Cuban
since
roots.
Since birth. Listen, Suki.
Is that what your mother said when she goes, "Oh, what a good-looking boy"?
He's been a good-looking boy since.
When I met his mother, she actually said, "Scotty's always been perfect.
He's always been a good-looking young man, my boy." I'm like, that's great, Mom. I'll put that on my resume. Scott's mother said.
Oh, I love her. I love her.
Anyway, Suk, listen, one of my favorite lines from any movie is when Al Pacino
is with Manny
and Manny are sitting by the beach. You know, it's like the comedic portion when they're first starting to get big and they're talking about making a lot of money and all the beautiful women start walking by.
Oh, yeah.
And Al Pacino yells out, "Hey, baby, you want to get some ice cream?"
Yeah.
And Manny goes, "What are you, crazy? Ice cream?" He goes, "What you got to do is you got to go, blah, 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 blah. You got to stick your tongue out to these women." And so he says, "Watch this. I'm going to go over to this girl and you see how well it works." So Al Pacino goes up to this little kid who's on the beach on the boardwalk. He goes, "Take a look. Watch this. My friend going to stick his tongue out at this chick like a pelican." Watch this. And it was such a great scene, but just a great movie.
What?
Top 10,
Al
top
Pacino, 3. A young Michelle Pfeiffer.
Oh my God.
I mean, gee whiz. I mean, it had the recipe for everything.
You can't shoot a cop, Tony. Whoever said you was one, Mel. Forget it, Sue. We're gonna have a ball. Stephen Bauer's coming up. Of course, he's plays Avi and Ray Donovan, and he's been in so many different things in between. And also Patrick Myers from Killer Queen is coming up. Ladies and gentlemen, he is Freddie Mercury. Like when he comes on, you think you're talking to Freddie Mercury.
When you were doing the sound check, I looked at you and I said, "Wow,
this guy's Freddie Mercury.
It's
unbelievable.
This is going in deep." But that's why they sell out huge stadiums all around the world.
Yeah.
He's coming in from Pittsburgh this morning.
They're on tour here in the U.S. and they've literally have sold out the same arenas that Queen has sold out because people, it's the same vibe. And you'll see once we have them on. You'll see the video.
And I honestly think, like, when you listen to, you watch Queen documentaries or you watch anything with Freddie Mercury, I mean, you just kind of love him.
Yeah.
You know, and you wish to God.
You wish he was still around, right?
Some of the greats didn't have to die and they were still around because their music is just,
my God.
They still had so much left in them.
He was insane.
I was listening to George Michael the other day and I was like, listen to this. Look at this. Yeah, I mean, like, it's endless. His music is timeless too.
All we have to do now.
I mean, and all the models, supermodels walking.
Oh, yeah. Remember that?
Yeah.
Well, Suk, listen, before we bring Stephen Bauer on, it's time to bust out.
What is it?
The Suki mailbag.
The Suki mailbag.
Ah, yes, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, people from all around the country, they look to Suki for answers. And they send us questions from all over the world, Suki.
All right.
Asking you some which are very, some are simple, some are very complicated. You're like the Ann Landers of streaming video.
And for people who don't know who Ann Landers is,
she's a columnist, an advice columnist. She's about 130 years old now, but she was very big back in the day. So we bust out the Suki mailbag. Suk, I picked my top 5 questions.
And these are real questions. I do not know. I don't know anything. So what you're going to hear are responses, a natural response, whatever it may be.
I have not told Suki these questions in advance. So Suk, here's the first one. It comes from Anton from Valencia, California.
Anton from Valencia.
It reads, "Dear Suki, why can't women put mascara on with their mouths closed?" Suki, why can't women put mascara on?
I don't know, Anton.
Suki, show me how that would look if you would have put mascara.
It just doesn't feel right because, look, it just
because you
know why? Because you have to elongate your face a little bit, close your lid, and when you close the lid, the mouth
Automatically.
drops.
All right, there you go.
It's just like one of those things. I mean, I guess you can close it, but it just feels better when your mouth is open.
Sure does. Anton
Hey
from,
now!
Hey, Anton
Hey!
from Valencia. Hopefully she answered your question. Suki, this comes from Samantha from St. Paul, Minnesota.
Okay, I love St. Paul.
And it reads as follows. Dear Suki, my boyfriend tricked me into becoming friends with his other girlfriend.
Wait. My
boyfriend
boyfriend
tricked me into becoming friends with his other girlfriend that he was seeing.
So his side
Should
chick.
we just stay friends and get rid of the boyfriend? Please advise. What's
the twisted
I
web
say
we
you
weave.
kick that guy to the curb.
I say
right?
you guys get together and like forget about him in
March-
front of him.
March is Women's Month. Suki. Time to do it now, ladies.
Ladies, let's do it.
Here we go. Dear Suki, this is from Vinny from Queens.
Vinny
It's Vinny from Queens on line 1.
Vinny on line 1.
Dear Suki, I've been a big fan of yours since your days at Pix 11.
Oh, thank you so much, Vinny.
Do you have any shoe dangling photos you can send like the old days? P.S. Are you single? Suki, do you have any shoe dangling
All right,
photos?
so this is that Vinny from Shoe Dangling Days?
Yeah,
okay,
left
so
over.
you want to tell everybody the story about the shoe
When
dangler?
Suki and I used to do the morning show, Pix 11,
We-
all morning long, Suki would get requests either like on text message or email.
From the shoe dangler.
And all they wanted was pictures of, when women cross their legs and hang their high heels on the toes.
Yeah.
There are guys who have a fetish that I guess they really enjoy this. So she would get, Suki, please take a shot of your shoes while they're dangling.
So apparently I have a high arch and Vinny gets off on the high arch.
I love about her. She got a high arch.
So Scotty one day actually took a picture of himself dangling the shoes.
I took a picture of my own shoes dangling with my toes all jacked up.
But Vinny said it didn't really work for him.
I may have had gout at the time. Who knows? One more, Suki. One more. Dear Suki, if you had to sing one karaoke song for $1 million, what would it be? That comes from Scott from New Jersey, Suki. That's me. One karaoke song for, we always ask our musicians, what would it be for $1 million? What's your
Because we're having a good time, having a good time. I'm a supersonic.
Nice timing, by the way.
There you
Patrick Myers coming up from Killer Queen. Stephen Bauer, Scarface, Ray Donovan, Breaking Bad,
Oh my
Better
gosh,
Call Saul. Don Eladio. He's doing it
He's
all.
the
ladies and
biggest,
gentlemen.
baddest bad boy that you
Ah,
want to
he's
have in your corner.
Still a handsome son of a gun.
Yes, he is.
Ladies and gentlemen, take a look. Quick little This Is Your Life on Stephen Bauer. I know we're coming back with the big man right on the other side. Watch. All right. Well, hold on. We got a little problem with Stephen Bauer's signal. Jeff, what'd you do? You screwed it up? You screwed it up again?
I'm Stephen Bauer.
Yeah. What'd you do? What happened?
His call dropped.
Oh,
Okay.
I saw him struggling, went gray, and he's struggling, and I'm sure he's trying to dial back in. So,
Okay.
scratch.
all right.
All right.
You'll never see this part in the final cut, Suki.
So I think this was a really funny thing that I saw just recently, Scotty, and I
What's
wanted
that?
to talk to you about that.
Tell me, what do you got?
So this was on NPR, and it caught my eye.
Public Radio.
National Public Radio. And you know how people wear masks from time to time?
Yeah.
So apparently, people who think they're attractive are less likely to wear masks, according to studies.
I get it.
Yeah. So according to they had almost like 1,200 participants, and they had to self-evaluate how attractive they were, and they deemed themselves how attractive they were depending on the situation that they're in.
Right.
Job interview, exactly, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Go ahead.
And they said the more attractive person perceives themselves less attractive when they're wearing a mask.
Really?
So they would actually not wear a mask in public because they feel that
it's taking away from their good looks.
Exactly.
See, and here's the thing. It's funny because when I would wear a mask, I would feel like it made me better looking. From here up, I always thought.
You thought your eyes were doing it all?
I thought this
because you
way
do have great brows, great
people-
eyes. You have hazel eyes.
yes.
But you know what? I get it. Because some people you need to see the full picture. Now, recently, when people have taken their masks off, I actually go, oh, that's how you look.
Put it back on, dude. Let's see what's going on.
But the reality is, I thought that was an interesting study that's happening from time to time as to why people find themselves less attractive or more attractive. And masks, if you see it now, some people just wear masks all the time.
That's true.
Like it's becoming like a crutch.
I had to wear one yesterday for a function I was at, and it's just like, it's real. I'm like, man, I got to get this off.
Yeah.
That's not cool anymore.
Yeah. It's
You know?
not that it's not cool anymore. Like, listen,
I don't mean
let me
cool,
tell you
cool.
something.
It's
If somebody was hacking around me, like I was on a plane and somebody behind me was hacking their like third lung, I would definitely put on a mask because I don't want to get the vid.
Suk,
because the vid's still out there.
It's out there. It's roaming around. Suk, if anything, our intro to Stephen Bauer was fantastic. Even if he doesn't show back,
he's going to show up. Too bad
he was just on with us for 20 minutes. We were BSing before the show.
You know what? Did you text him?
All of a sudden, he's gone.
Text him because he's got everybody in his book.
Let's see what's
in the meantime. I'm going to go on to another story that I thought was really interesting that caught my eye. And I think if it catches my eye, it will probably catch your eye.
What do you got?
So apparently there was this woman in 2007. She bought an iPhone.
Okay.
So 2007, she bought an iPhone and she wasn't thinking anything, but she kept everything in the packaging, brand new, hasn't opened it, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Guess how much that 2017 iPhone is worth now?
How much is it worth?
She paid, I don't know, she paid like $800 for it back then. Guess how much it's worth right now?
Don't tell me
in
it's
the
worth
package,
more than that.
In the package.
Right. Oh, as like an antique almost.
As an antique. Guess how much?
$27,500.
Almost $64,000.
No way.
Oh,
for who's gonna
100 times over 100 times more than what she paid for it.
What crazy person would
because
want
it's
that?
A vintage iPhone now that hasn't been touched, that no one's ever seen it, and people want to auction off these things. So it's kind of interesting that it was only 2014 or 2007.
Right.
But if you think about it, like nothing really came into existence before 2008, right? Facebook kicked off in 2008. I mean, everything was like really started. So she had the first iteration of the iPhone.
Yeah.
New.
That's
so that's going to go in the Apple Museum. Like
I guess if it's unused, you could sell it, right? But
yeah.
I mean, God, and it's probably like this big.
An original first release model from 2007, still brand new with the factory seal intact. It is truly remarkable, according to people. The starting bid started at $2,500 and went for 27 rounds. Can you imagine that?
That's unbelievable.
Other factory sealed first edition iPhones actually went for auction for about $40,000. But this particular one is the first original model in acceptable condition, meaning never opened with the factory seal. So it's a high-end collector's item. So, you know, it gives you food for thought. Those old phones. I mean, it's kind of like what's in your attic kind of thing. Like you never know what you're going to discover. And then all of a sudden you got a Picasso.
Stephen just wrote.
What did he say?
Right when we were going to him, somebody called his phone. And
you lost everything?
He said you were showing the clips, but I tried to shut my phone off. I answered it instead, so it knocked me off.
All right, he's back on.
Hold
all right,
on.
so let's pick it up where we left off.
Watch this.
Yes,
Ready, watch.
please. Yes.
Wait, here we go. No, Jeff, put us up full screen with Stephen. Bring Stephen in.
And I got bit by a mosquito in the meantime.
Stephen, hold on. The clips just ended. Wow, Stephen Bauer, look at
Here I am. Hey guys, it's so great to see you in person.
It's good to see you, Stephen. Looking great in sunny Florida, I'm guessing.
Miami.
Miami.
Steven, when you see that montage of all those quick clips, you young, you and Ray Donovan, you and Scarface, you look back and you're like, geez, man, I really, that wasn't even a third of what you've done, but you're like, man, I've done a lot of stuff.
Yeah. I believe it or not, Scott, I live that every day. And I don't mean by that to say that I think about my career every day. But I'm aware of it every day because of this place, Miami. It's my hometown. So everyone on the street who's not paying attention to their own thing, and they look at strangers as they pass by, and they catch my face, it's still basically the same face, except for those people that say, "Man, you've aged."
Listen, Steven. So let's talk about that. So Miami,
so
your
people
Cuban
remind
roots.
me. Yeah, people everywhere around here, everywhere. I mean, everywhere. They say, "Hey, you're that guy." Yes,
you're that guy.
And no, and some people like at a doctor's office, a dentist's office or something, and someone they'll just stop and they'll stare, and they'll hey, that's me and the kid from Ray Donovan, and there's John Boyd, my buddy. Yeah. So people will stop and they'll say, wait, and then you gotta wait. And then I just have to feed them the lines. I have to feed them the lines, because they're stuck. And they'll say, you're not. Yes, I am. And they'll say, you're not. And I said, yes, I am. And they say, you are? And I said, I'm telling you. So crazy.
I love
it's
it.
so crazy. So like I said, I'm reminded every day of my illustrious speckled career.
I gotta say, when you're in Miami, you're in your hometown, you're at your mother's house, you're in like the roots, the things that made you who you are. What's the first thing you do in your hometown? Like, what's your favorite? Like, you have to have your coffee a certain way, like a true Cuban. Do you have
no. All those things exist. And first of all, let me clear it up for everyone, because I told you guys a little about the situation, but you just said you're at your mom's house. We're visiting here because we are waiting to move to a place near the beach. Yeah. But my mom's place is a very accommodating place. And my brother lives here. There's about 7 animals, household pets, and outdoor pets, not including the alligators.
Steven, let me tell you, if I could live with my mom forever, I would. I really would.
Me too.
We're both like
but you're not my age.
Listen, man.
But anyway, I have my wife and I. I mean, it's 2 of us, and we have 3 dogs and 4 cats.
Oh man.
And right now we're in one room, but we do have the whole house, of course. But yes, Cuban coffee is a must. I didn't have it in LA, so obviously I lived without it. But then again, I wasn't as happy then as I am now. So that could be the ingredient.
Yes.
I love it. Steven, take me back to Scarface, man. When you're
I thought you said take your glasses off.
When you're reading that script for Scarface, right? And you're doing table reads with Pacino and everybody in that movie, Michelle Pfeiffer. Do you realize as you're doing it, as you're filming it, when you first get to watch the dailies and then you see the finished product, do you realize like everybody just looks at each other and says, "Holy cow, we got a movie on our hands right here"?
No. Nobody saw dailies. Al sometimes, but he'd be so exhausted after the days that we would put in that he's just like, I'll see it later. But what he did have, what we both had. I mean, obviously for me, for a first movie, it was a tremendous experience because I'm not only relying on the director to tell me how I'm doing or if he wants something different from me. but I've got Al, and Al was with every scene, every moment. First of all, him and I bonded right away because I was the director's choice, Brian's choice, and the producer, Martin Bregman, and they both chose me, and then told Al that they had found the guy.
Right.
And Al was like, oh, who is this guy? He's like, who is this guy? Plus the name confused him. Because they told him my name was Stephen Bauer. And Al said, and you're telling me he's really Cuban? So when I meet him finally, and there's a big buildup to it, everybody says, you're gonna love this kid. And so I go into this office, I think it was Bregman's office, and he closes the door, he leaves us there alone. And it's, in a way, it's like an immediate affinity for both spirits. We both love each other right away.
Love it.
Just based on smiles, communicating, smiles communicate. And especially if they're honest, they're genuine. And he was very genuine, and so was I, because I was just like, there he is, and whatever. He's just a guy, and he said, before we start, you said you were really Cuban, and I said, yeah, yo soy cubano. Then why is your name Steve Bauer? and so he and I had this humorous relationship the entire time. And what he did was he ensured, once he knew that I spoke perfect Spanish and that I knew a little bit about that generation that came over after mine, but it still has enough of the Cuban sense of humor and self-deprecating attitudes that we all did, that the Cubans had when we lost our country and adopted the United States of America. And from the moment I got here, I wanted to be an American. I was not one of those that I didn't sort of sit in the past, because I had no past. I was 3 years old.
Yeah.
And I sympathized for my parents and their parents, my grandparents, because they missed their homeland. But my dad also my mom, they made immediate transfer to become an American. And so what Al got to meet in me was a guy who was an American all his life. But I still retained so much of my Cuban feel, because I got it from them, from my people. And so I gave him that. I gave him that flavor and the sound of when you learn English coming from another country, and especially for Spanish-speaking people. English is one of the hardest sounds to imitate unless you have a great ear. Unless you have a good ear, you don't capture this sound. If you speak like this, o no habla español, you can't get this like that. This, you say this. Like, it's hard to say. So I explained all of that to Al. I just gave it to him, tossed it at him, and that's what he wanted. He wanted to soak up as much of that Cuban thing from me, without me being a criminal that I could offer. I couldn't offer any of that.
Libertad.
So he and I were together. He kept me next to him. When we start production, by the time we're in rehearsals, I spend every day at his house, every day for 4 or 5 hours, just talking about our lives as the characters. So see, that's the secret. That's part of the secret that when people say, how were you felt so good around him? And I said, because he allowed me that.
Yeah, you connected.
We were best friends. We're best friends. We're close friends. You imagine, we had been in prison together. We've been in the army together. So all these things, you imagine them and you dream them, so that's your other life. That's the life you're going to portray when the camera rolls. And that's what we did.
Most men, Suki, have lived by those 3 lines that Al Pacino blurts out. He says, "You know what, Manny? First you'll get the money, then you'll get the power, and then you get the women."
I like when he goes, when the girl slaps me, and I get up, I say, "Bitch," and if you wasn't any bigger, I'd clock you. And then and he goes, forget about it. And this is improvised. He goes, forget about it, Manny. She's too big for you. Not in this. A lot of that stuff is not in Oliver's script, but a lot of what Oliver wrote is just so rich, and really he had a great ear because he was hanging around those bad guys in Miami at the famous Mutiny, the Mutiny Hotel and the club there in Coconut Grove at that time, right before the movie was written. Oliver was hanging around there with those guys doing his research. And he also spent time with the law, with the DEA guys.
Wow.
So he knew everything. And in his script, that's why it's so rich. And that's why the language is what it is, because that's no lie. And that movie is the first movie, really first modern American film. No, first American film to have a language that is so colorful that that people did not even want to see it. If they and the critics killed us. They destroyed the movie. So did we know that it was going to be a hit? No, we could only hope. But him and I, as the weeks went on, and I knew enough not to bug him. I was close enough to him that I could. But I didn't want to bug him right away and say, how was that? How was that? When we'd finish a scene, how was that? I would watch him and he would ask me, he'd say, what do you think? And I'd say, I think we finally, we do like 22 takes. And so, and every time, we do like the first take, second take, and Brian would say, okay, like, you guys,
you got it?
Are you satisfied? Yeah. And Al would look at me and he'd go,
one more.
I go, Ryan, can we do one more?
I love it.
And so we'd end up doing a lot. And by the time we would go back to Al's trailer, he'd pick up stuff and put it down and stuff. And I didn't bug him. I didn't bother him. But I mean, suddenly he'd turn and say, what would you say to a game of Uno? We had an Uno thing. So he's funny like that. And I would say one day I finally asked him when we were like 7 weeks into production, and we finished a particularly like grueling scene. But we did like 30 takes, I think, before we finally said, okay.
That's crazy, 30 takes.
Yeah. And Brian was okay in his inimitable style.
Stephen, one thing I got to mention is when Michelle Pfeiffer gets onto the scene, oh my God.
In that elevator.
I mean, how gorgeous. I mean, like breathtakingly.
Elvie.
Yeah. Breathtakingly beautiful.
Elvie.
It's like,
I was kidding.
Yeah, I was totally
kidding.
She'll take a couple Quaaludes and love me again in the morning.
You'll love me again. Yes. So we didn't know. We had no idea. In fact, when I finally did get an answer from him, he said, honestly, I think that people are going to love it and people are going to hate it. But it's not going to have like a lukewarm response from anyone. It's the kind of thing and afterward, when he did see an assembly of the thing, he called me and he said, I saw it. And I said, you saw it? And he said, yeah. It's like, it's operatic. It's operatic. And I said, okay, I know what opera. I know I've been to the opera. So what it looks like we sing, I mean, what's that? What does he mean by that? And I just realized that what he was trying to tell me was that it's bigger than life, but it's not fake. It's realistic, but bigger than life.
Yeah.
It's got its own style. Wow. And I think that's what makes it through the years why
Timeless.
it's so imitated and so and so revered, where generations of kids are watching it because their fathers are insisting that they watch it when they turn 13, 14.
Great.
15.
Great. Every
true.
time
13.
it's on.
Every time it's on, we watch it.
And
You do? Oh.
you know, and really, Stephen, just switch over with me to Breaking. Not I know you were
Ray
in
Donovan.
Yeah, Breaking Bad.
and
Breaking
Better Call
Bad.
Saul. But Breaking Bad, of course, also another top 3 show. Ray Donovan is just, I mean,
Amazing.
that was just a sensational series. Nobody was more upset than me when they said it was going off the air. I'm like, why is it going off the air? Why? It's perfect. And then they capped it off with the movie, and I guess, you know, they tie up all the loose ends. But again, another insanely talented cast that everybody was just perfect.
Yes, it was, and yes, it is, Scott. Good eye. That's good taste. And I tell everybody who are big fans of the show, I say, man, you have great taste, because yes, it is, and yes, it is. There's no denying it. 10 years from now, you could binge that and binge from the first episode. Something about his performance, about Liev's performance, is so, it brings you in, because he is the modern quiet man.
Yeah.
Quiet man. And boy, but he's scary, isn't he?
Especially when he's walking around with that bat.
Yeah, yes, exactly. And I got to be his pal, you know. And if you know, if you're to believe his wife, you know, when she says, yeah, you don't even have a friend, and he goes, well, Avi, and she goes, Avi's not your friend. He works for you. He goes, Avi, what about Avi? Yeah, what about Avi? You forgot all about me.
Oh my God! One season, Avi gets his butt kicked by the Russians.
And
his face is literally mangled.
Oh.
They did the makeup department. My God, the makeup department. And those Russians hit hard. My job, they got me in the job by accident. They kicked me in the back of my ribs. And I had the opportunity to put on some rib pads.
Oh, good.
And I thought that it made me look fat. So
So you took the hit in the rib.
I said, nah, they know how to do it. You pull your kick, right? But it's very tricky. The choreography there is, I go down, they kick me here, I fall, then I go down, I get kicked in the front, and then I roll over, and the other guy kicks me, boom, and then I start to roll over, and this guy kicks me too early, and he kicks me right here on the side. Oh man! And I walked around like that for 6 months. Ooh. From that point on, I was no good in the show. I actually was able. They kept writing for me to be still recovering from those wounds because it made sense.
Oh wow!
It actually did happen. The guy kicked me, and my rib was bruised, but it was the back part of my rib cage, and it was horrible because it also bruised the ligaments that cover your rib cage. And I felt like my lung had collapsed because he kicked me so hard. And he was just a novice, actually. They were sort of training him.
They got the Russians back. You got the Russians back.
They
and
did.
It was
yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
What was it like working with John Voight?
I did, actually. And I had him in the car. And I said, hey, remember me?
Remember me?
Bang, bang.
Boom. And like Suki was just about to say, I mean, John Voight is absolutely, you talk about perfection. Mickey Donovan, just a total screw up, constantly getting everybody screwed up. And I mean, it's just like I said, it's a perfect cast. It's perfect.
And if you knew Mickey, I mean, God, if you I got to know John Voight after he was one of my heroes acting. And then I go to Hollywood and I went to a roller disco party. I'm dating myself.
I love it.
And I had a roller disco party and he was there. And I sat down, I didn't know anybody. They're all movie stars. And he sat down in front of me to eat a hot dog. And he asked me what I was doing, who I was, what I was doing. And I had I hadn't done anything in Hollywood yet. Nothing. Not even my first guest starring roles. And he talked to me. And then 40 years later, finally I got to act with him. And he knew because I kept him appraised of my career as it was going.
Cool.
I would talk to him. He invited that. And he's kind of like my mentor in a way because I looked up to him. And he recognized me as someone that was serious. Yeah, even though I look like a goofball.
Stephen, listen, but before we go, and we got Patrick Myers coming up from Killer Queen in just a second. Yes. You have been in so many different, your credits are insane. You've been in so many different things. Some of the movies,
amazing,
which people may not know about, maybe they're right to DVD or VHS at the time, but didn't get as much play as obviously some of the bigger ones you've been in. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to play the Stephen Bauer movie quiz. So what Suki and I are going to do is we're going to give you the synopsis of a movie.
And you name the movie.
You have to tell us the name of the movie. It stars you. Okay?
I can do it. I can do it.
So, for example, there's 5 of them. I'll give you the first one. Let me finish the whole thing and give yourself a second to think about it. You ready?
Okay.
Here's number 1. It's not politics as usual, or is it? The governor of Louisiana is about to become the vice presidential candidate for his party, but a murder and an international web spanning from South Africa to Pakistan and North Korea might just get in the way. Name that movie.
I know the movie. I just wish I knew the name. But Eric Roberts is in it.
Yes, yes, he is.
And so is Bobby and Billy Zane.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
You want a hint?
See, I do remember the movie. I was in it.
It's the last word is it's 3 words. The last word is us. Last one is us. How about Enemies Among Us?
Oh, us, not up.
Enemies Among Us.
Enemies Among Us. Wow, that was released.
Yeah. Stephen, here's the next one.
All right. Detective Bobby Corcoran and his partner, Detective Larson, are on the hunt for a vicious serial killer in this tense police thriller. As the murderous villain stalks the city streets, leaving carnage in his wake, Corcoran begins to experience blackouts and sudden fits of anger. All right, Stephen, name that movie.
Stranger by Night.
Yes! Ding, 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 ding. Yes.
Now that is a good movie. Who found that?
You're at 50% capacity, Stephen. Here we go. Here's the next one. Mobster Tony Thick is expecting $5 million in cash to be delivered by mule from Los Angeles. The mule for the mob has gone missing. With that cash, is he dead? No one knows. 2 words.
Buster's Millions.
Oh, sorry, Stephen. We're talking about
Dead Lenny.
Dead Lenny is the name of the movie.
Oh God, Dead Lenny! I was thinking it was another winner that I did.
Who the stars in Dead Lenny?
Yeah.
No, Dead Lenny. Dead Lenny is a movie that was made very, very cheaply, but it's a really cool movie with my pal, not Phil, from Saturday Night Live.
Put it up again, Jeff. Put up Dead Lenny.
Come on, my brother.
Armand Asante?
Armand.
No, Armand. I've done two other movies with him. I love Armand. Armand is great. But who plays my brother in it is the comedian. God, what's going on now?
Joe Pesci.
I can't see it. It's too small.
You can't see it. I can't either.
I don't want to make
He was on Saturday Night Live, and he was one of the guys who did the thing, pump you up.
Yeah, that's Nealon.
Gosh,
was it Kevin Nealon?
No, actually,
I want to pump you up. I don't know.
Yes, Kevin Nealon did that, but he did it with with Dan. He did a movie called Wise Guys with Danny DeVito that was directed by Brian De Palma.
Oh, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No, God, what's his name? He's Italian, and he's funny. He's funny. He's tall.
Joe Pesci.
John Hurd.
John Hurd?
Pesci. No.
Joe Piscopo.
Joe Piscopo, for God's sake.
We love Joe. Yeah, Joe's coming on soon.
And you know what? Nicole Eggert is also coming on.
Nicole Eggert's coming on.
She's in that.
She was also in the movie.
That's a cool movie if you ever see it, if you get a chance to see it.
Dead Lenny.
So it's Armand Assante, John Hurd, you, Joe Piscopo, and Nicole Eggert.
Bless his heart, John Hurd passed away.
Yeah, there's Nicole. See, she's coming up. Yeah. She's coming up soon.
And I love John Hurd. I love John Hurd. And he wasn't that happy to be doing this movie, but he's a great actor. I mean, look at the roles he played. So many of those roles. He played bad guys, or
a lot of bad guys.
Yeah.
Stephen, I don't want to make you feel bad, but Eric Roberts got all 5. He was 5 for 5 with this. All right, Stephen, one more from Suki.
All right, Jack Lynch, played by Jeff Fahey, washes up on a beach after a storm, telling a story of one of the Ashby brothers having fallen off the Ashby sailboat, of which Jack was the pilot. The beautiful playgirl, Christina Ford, who's played by Bo Derek, walks into the hospital and tells police that Jack shot her boyfriend. Ted Ashby, which is you, Stephen Bauer, was also accused in this crime. Jack is arrested, questioned. Name that movie, because you remember very little about what happened.
Woman of Desire.
Yes!
And we shot in South Africa. That's South Africa. And I'll tell you what, Bo Derek is a great girl, and she's one of the bravest people I've ever known, because in one of the scenes, we're on the big sailboat, and we're out in those waters, which is about 50 degrees, the water off of South Africa, off of Cape Town. And that's the home of the great white.
Oh, wow.
And that's where you see them jump out of the water and swallow the sea lions.
Yeah.
That's where they live. And we are out there, and in the scene, supposedly, nobody planned how this was going to be done, but we're way out there. And the director says, Bo, do you think you could take off your sweater and dive in? And she said, sure. She's like, she just, and
no
she
fear.
did it. Everybody's watching, and she does it. Boom, they throw in the thing to pull her up, because we're on a sailboat, a big ass sailboat. And she went in that water, and she's floating there, and they scoop her out. She gets on board, she's freezing, and they're toweling her off, and the cameraman goes, excuse me, and they go, everybody's like, yeah, great. Wow, Bo, you're amazing. The cameraman goes, I'm sorry, I'm going to need one more.
Yeah. I'm sorry, there was no tape in the camera?
Not okay for the camera.
Before we let you go.
She did it right away.
Before we let you go, we got to talk about one of our favorite actors, Ray Liotta.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I know you were very good friends with him.
Yeah. And Ray, by the way, in the Cocaine Bear movie that just came out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you seen it?
No, I haven't seen it.
But it's a hit.
We did some fun stuff with it on here a couple of weeks ago, but I heard it's pretty funny, and you got to go see it. But
I think it's the #1 movie in America right now, Cocaine Bear.
Stephen, in 1 minute or less, tell our audience about how, I know you were with Melanie Griffith at the time, and you guys stayed at his place, And he stayed at your place.
Wow.
Everybody switched apartments in New York and LA.
Yes, he was he went up to New York 1 year before I did. He graduated before me at the University of Miami, and he got a role on the soap opera, and so he had an apartment. And when I went to study with Stella Adler in New York, Melanie and I went to study because Stella Adler saw me in her class, and she told me I had to come to New York and study with her. And so Stella Adler was it, and we stayed at his place. He gave us his apartment. We took over payments for his apartment, and so we lived there. We lived there for the years we were in New York, and then when I lived in California 1 year, a few years after that, my timeline's not on. It's not on right now. I turned it off. My exact timeline. We've been watching the Murdoch trial, and Ray came out and stayed with me for a few weeks, and we were really, really good friends. But at some point, him and I just got very busy with our lives, and his life went in a totally different direction. That's the wind. The wind from the lake just blew the phone over.
Don't worry about it. It's live TV.
So it's a beautiful day, by the way. And so Ray and I stayed in touch, not as often. And recently we were reconnecting a lot. And then it just, nobody expected it. It's hard to even conceive of it because he was so alive. And he died in his sleep, and it's
crazy.
Hard. It's very hard. But we were really good together at the University of Miami. We did.
I love it,
Stephen. Listen, thank you so much, my friend. Well worth the wait.
Find out where Patrick, where they're playing. If they're playing any in South Florida.
Oh,
okay.
Oh, the Killer Queen. Oh yeah, you gotta see these guys. They're phenomenal.
Please email me or something. Let me know. Let me know that I'd love to go. I'm a major fan. Major fan, and if I wasn't so big, I could do all those moves. I can sing almost everything except for the real falsetto stuff.
Oh,
wait, all right, wait. Wow, whoa, time out before we go.
Favorite song?
Love of my life.
Oh,
Don't leave me, love of my life. You leave me. Oh well, I can do it. Yeah. Mama just killed a man, put a gun against his head, pull my trigger, now he's dead. Mama, life had just begun, but now I've gone and thrown it all away.
Mama, the wind
make you cry. If I'm not back again this time tomorrow, carry on, as if nothing really mattered.
we love you, Stephen Bauer.
All right.
We love you.
Bring me back.
I love it. Stephen Bauer, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, if you
You
haven't
are
seen
awesome.
Scarface, shame on you. Everybody dies at the end. Sorry, I ruined it for you. Breaking Bad is also, it's still on Showtime. If you want to binge one
Ray Donovan.
Ray Donovan.
Ray Donovan. Try to see the movie. I think it's going to be re-released. The Paramount movie called Thief of Hearts, which was my first starring role after Scarface. Yep. There it is.
Yeah.
Really cool movie. Really cool, sexy movie.
Yeah, steamy movie. Stephen, listen, man, we could talk to you for another 2 hours. You got to come back again, all right?
Yes, I know.
Come back,
I'd love to come back on and just bring me on anytime and let me introduce you all to Alfie.
Alfie,
what's
it all about? Alfie.
That's my youngest.
Stephen, did you have a good time, bud?
Did I have a good time on the show?
Yeah.
I just said, bring me back on, damn it. Invite me back on, and I'll continue this craziness. Oh, look at this! Look at this! Oh, she weighs a ton. Good God, that's Olive.
Look how cute she is.
I'm sure the guys from Killer Queen are going to want to use your clip as a promo when you were talking about coming to see.
Oh, no, I didn't warm up. Yeah,
Stephen, thank you, buddy. You're the best. Thank you,
Thanks,
my friend.
guys. Thank you so much. And my wife Jennifer was watching the whole time.
Bye, Jennifer.
Take care, Jennifer. Stephen, thank you, buddy. I appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Sure, you're the best. You're the best.
Keep it up.
Take care, bud.
Oh, what a great man. I love
great.
him.
Wow.
I love him.
He was great. We're going to have to ask Patrick what he thought about the singing of Bohemian Rhapsody there, right?
Listen, that's good stuff.
Listen, we got Patrick Myers coming up from Killer Queen. Souk, we have, before we bring in Patrick, coming up in the weeks to come, but like you said, we have Nicole Eggert. We have Ronnie Platt coming up from Kansas.
Possibly Paul Stanley.
Paul Stanley's coming up.
From Kiss.
Debbie Gibson is coming up.
Debbie Gibson.
Sally Kirkland, legendary actress Sally Kirkland. Who did I tell you the other day? Aubrey O'Day.
Aubrey O'Day.
But Rosemary
From
Watson is a woman you may not know, but she is a fantastic impressionist. She's coming up in a couple of weeks. I pulled out a quick clip before we bring in Patrick. Take a look at Rosemary Watson. She's coming on in a few weeks. Just watch her. She's fantastic. Look.
The stockings were hung by the chimney with Cher. I can't believe I said that. It's not all about me. I said Cher. The children were nestled all snug in their beds without the worry of student loan debt going around and around in their heads. I sprang out of my bed and I yelled, "Hey, Bill, go see what's the matter." The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow.
How perfect is that?
Perfect.
She's perfect, right?
So
Every one of those voices.
And I got to tell you, Sally is one of the other premier guests. That
Sally Kirkland. Forget it. Oh, my God. She's this total sex symbol back in the day. So many movies. She's coming on. And Debbie Gibson, we're going to say, "Only in My Dreams."
Okay, so there's lots of stories about Debbie and Scotty.
Debbie Gibson and I have been corresponding
for many years.
For many years.
Suki and Scott show on Pix.
Still try. We send each other voice memos, ladies and gentlemen. She thinks I'm a pain in the butt, but we got her. We got her. Anyway, listen, Stephen Bauer, fantastic. So happy we got to get him on. Folks, listen.
Killer Queen time.
There are a lot of Queen tribute bands out there.
Nothing like that.
I've seen Killer Queen in person, and it is literally like you are at a Queen concert. Patrick Myers, he literally turns into Souk.
We're
Freddie Mercury.
Freddie Mercury.
He literally turns into Freddie Mercury. Here's a little bit of Killer Queen and Patrick, and then we're going to bring him in on the other side. Take a look at this.
Just killed him right.
All we hear is Radio Gaga.
Radio Goo Goo. Radio Gaga.
Woo!
No! Hey! Hey!
Come on, Bauer. Patrick Meyer!
Just call him Freddie. Just call
Freddie.
No, Patrick, please. Patrick.
Patrick, how are you, my friend? Thanks
really,
for coming on.
Really good. A little bit jet lagged because we got in late last night from our flight from England, but raring to go. Other than that, raring to go.
All right, so let's get right into it, man. We won't keep you long. You guys you're on tour here in the States, and now you're on from Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Give me a little bit of the rundown of the schedule, because we have viewers from all over the country.
Well, this year we're playing all over the place. We're sort of going east, west, south, north. And we're coming back here in July, so we'll be playing Red Rocks and Austin City Limits. We're playing New York in this particular tour later on in the a couple of weeks away from now. So it's just really, really busy. We go everywhere in America. It's a vast country.
Actor Stephen Bauer, who was on just before, is a huge. He wants to know if you're going to be in Florida in the Miami area anytime soon.
I think we are. We've got. If you go to killerqueen.com, it's got all of the dates here. My brain's a bit scrambled at the moment in terms of remembering the whole itinerary. Killerqueen.com is all there, man. I think Florida is definitely going to be a big part of that. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Patrick, I've seen you guys before last, a couple years ago when you were in the States. And it's literally like you're there watching Queen in person. And I've also seen Queen with Adam Lambert as well. But to watch you, and you look so much like Freddie Mercury, and you sound so much like Fred. Adam Lambert is Adam Lambert doing Queen. You are literally Freddie Mercury recreated. What was it about him and the band Queen that got you into? You've been doing this for about 20 years now. What was it that got you into doing this character?
Yeah, it's nearly it's more than 20 years now. I just loved Queen from the moment I heard them. I heard Queen Greatest Hits on a cassette on a school trip on a bus going to Germany or somewhere like that, and I just couldn't believe it. The quality of the songwriting, his voice, the arrangements, the stacked harmonies of the voice and the stacked harmony of his guitar, and the amazing drum sound, the beautiful bass, all of it was just so great. I was looking for a band that was like the Beatles, that was just as magic as the Beatles were, and was so varied like the Beatles were. And I discovered Queen through a friend of mine. It was the songwriting and that voice just held me transfixed from the moment I heard it. And so I had to, go and find all the albums and dig deep and find out what they're up to and start following them. And I was about 13 or 14 at the time. So it hit me pretty hard, but I loved it. Yeah.
And you're sort of the torchbearer for it all, right? I mean, like for so many people that miss Freddie and miss seeing him, and like it feels like you are carrying that torch for so many fans. And that's why the stadiums are packed, because not only do you do such good justice to the music, but to his legacy as well.
Yeah.
Freddie was extraordinary as a chap. I think a lot of people feel that very keenly in terms of a lot of people, I think everyone in the audience feels like they're holding the torch for Freddie too. I think it's not just us in the band. I mean, there's a lot, as you say, there's a lot of Queen tributes. There's a lot of big feelings when it comes to Queen music. So, I mean, our thing with audiences, and the same with Queen, and when you go and see Queen and Adam Lambert, it's extraordinary. It's a work of art, that show. And I'm so pleased that they're probably doing another tour, I think I'm beginning to hear. But yeah, when we get there, we want to make the audience as much a part of the show as the band, because everyone feels just as strongly. We get so many emails from people who say, how much they miss Freddie or how much Queen music has meant to their lives, and how much those songs speak to them and speak to their different parts of lives and things they've gone through. So I think there's so much emotion in the room before you even walk on stage. And we're
generations,
just,
even the next generation, our children love Queen. It's interesting.
Yeah, isn't that great? We get. I mean, it used to be that the parents would bring their kids to say, "Hey, this is what we're into." But now, after that film, Bohemian Rhapsody, and with everything being just available all the time on YouTube, kids are discovering Queen, and it becomes their new favorite band. And it doesn't matter that where Freddie is now. Freddie is there with them as far as they're concerned, and so they want to see. Cool. They want to come and see a show, and they want to see, like it was on YouTube and things like that. It's a great band to discover rock and roll music and to discover music through, because, as I say, musically they were so diverse. It wasn't just rock; it was a whole host of different genres that they just effortlessly kind of covered and just made magic and spring alive. So for us, it's great fun.
Yeah, and you talk about tribute bands, right? It's when you saw it, it's so and so tribute band. You're used to walking into a bar and seeing a tribute band.
This is a stadium.
Killer Queen is a stage show.
Yeah,
it's in theaters. It's in arenas, Suk. And the one amazing thing, Patrick, that we read about you guys have sold out the same arenas that Queen had played in. And before you answer that, I grabbed a couple of videos. I want to show Jeff. Show us one, and you look at the crowd, and it's literally like you're at a Queen concert. So take a look at this right here. Stop me now.
Amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Patrick, how does that feel, dude, when you're up on that stage and you got the electricity must be, all you guys in the band, it got to be flowing through your body.
Yeah, it's great fun. I mean, it's as much fun as you'd imagine it would be. And that for me, that's extraordinary to be able to sort of be that, you know, be in that position on stage. Because I never got to see Queen live. It was like this big rites of passage experience that I thought I was going to have. You know, I was about, I don't know, 14 or 15 when they did the last tour in England. And I thought, okay, well, I couldn't get to that show. I was a bit too young. And I can go to the next show. I'll be old enough to take myself there. And that never happened.
Yeah.
So that was, it was, so to be in a situation where Queen music is exploding all around you, you've got a crowd in front of you and they're all going crazy and there's tens of thousands of people there, is so one of those pinch me moments, you know, and to be a part of that and to do that as your job and to get to go around the world and do that and make people so happy is brilliant. It's such a lovely thing to be able to do. So we don't take it for granted. How could you, you know, with situations like that and crowds like that?
Even
it's,
the fellow
it's electric.
Who's Brian May with the hair.
I was going to say Brian May, Roger Taylor.
I mean,
the whole
like
all of them.
plays like them. It's excellent. Man,
Did have Brian May or Roger Taylor or have they ever contacted you guys and said, "Hey guys, you know, we know what you're doing. We see you." Have they ever like saw anything or reached out to you guys?
No. Queen have got their own tribute because, as I say, there's an army of Queen tributes out there, and we're lucky to be, you know, sort of like working on the level we're working on. You know, we're grateful to be here. But Queen have got their own tribute called the Queen Extravaganza, so that's their baby, really. So they direct all their attention to that, and it wouldn't really make any sense for them to be sort of like also, you know, reaching out to other tributes as well. But no, I mean, we wish, you know, it's just being able to do the music is good.
It's enough.
We gauge it by the effect that it has on the audience. It'd be lovely to hear from Roger and Brian, but we don't hold our breath on that, and we completely understand why that.
Yeah, I know. I get it.
Yeah.
You know what I was going to say? Like, you must know so much about Freddie Mercury. Is there a story or something? Do you tell stories during the concert? Do you
like
share
as him?
No. We don't really tell stories because we want to sort of like, we don't want to separate what we do during the show is because we're trying to create an impossible concert, you know, the concert that can't happen, like it's the
ultimate concert. Oh, okay, yeah.
And you're back in time, but it feels like it's present. So it's like all the time happens at once, and hey, here we are on stage, and we want to lose people in that, but at the same time, we want to step outside that and acknowledge that, look, hey, we're a tribute band. This is, you know, we're having fun with this music. We're creating this musical illusion, but trying to make it a reality. But also, let's stop and say thank you to Queen. So we don't tell stories, but we acknowledge each of them as each member of the band as just the extraordinary musicians and writers and performers that they are, and how there's no replacing Queen. You know, Queen are just extraordinary, and we're doing our best and stepping up to the plate. But you know, Queen are Queen, and particularly now, you know, with Queen and Adam Lambert, it's so great that they're such powerful touring crews again. You know.
You know what I love when they do the Queen David Bowie, you know, the one that Vanilla Ice, the one that Vanilla Ice didn't steal.
Under Pressure.
And I just feel like, and even when Adam Lambert did it, because I saw them at the Garden, just when they get to the part, why can't we give ourselves one more chance?
Yeah.
Oh my, why can't we give it all? Give it all. Give it all. It is
Give love. It's such. I love that song. It was originally called People on Streets. It's but Under Pressure, amazing track. It's so powerful and such a great collaboration with Bowie and Queen. You know, Roger Taylor's on record many times for saying, you know, he just wished they'd done more stuff together because they could have been such a powerful combination, you know. But the fact that they came together so brilliantly on Under Pressure at all is a bit of a miracle in itself. So that's fantastic. Yeah, no, I love that song.
Let's take it before we talk about. Let's take a look a little more. You guys in action. Watch this one.
amazing.
your bikes and ride.
Woo!
Hey, all right. I love it, man. I love it. Patrick, you again, how long are you guys in the States for now?
Okay, so we're here all the way through March, and then we're here again all the way through July, and then halfway through September to halfway through October, we're here. So altogether about 3 months, but we keep adding more dates to the tour, so we might end up staying a whole year here. Who knows?
Wow, incredible.
Are you? I know Steven was asking about Florida. Are you guys back in like the New York, New Jersey area?
Yeah, we're in New York. In this killerqueen.com, we've got some March dates in the New York area, in New York City. We're playing there, and then in New York State, we've got some stuff as well. So yeah,
excellent,
beautiful, beautiful.
Do you end the show? Do you have a favorite song that you love singing?
Yeah, what's your best? What's your favorite?
I love. I mean, it's an obvious song to choose, really, but Bohemian Rhapsody, I think, is an extraordinary creation. I mean, it's just such an amazing song. It's so heartfelt. It's so unique in terms of a structure. It doesn't really have a chorus, you know, apart from just singing "Mama." You know, again, you know, it's such a beautiful track. So for me, it's great. And watching the audience just as they build through the operatic section. And they're getting ready to the Wayne's World bit where they start really rocking. And the pyrotechnics go off, and then everyone just goes crazy and jumps. Everyone's throwing their hands in the air and just jumping and going crazy. How can you not fall for that moment every night? But also a quiet song like Days of Our Lives, which is a Roger Taylor track, which is almost like a conversation with the audience. That's so beautiful. I love that too. So,
in the movie, when they show you them making that song,
right?
And Freddie's like, again, do it again. Patrick, listen, man, thank you so much. It's killerqueen.com?
Killerqueen.com, yeah, that's right.
Killerqueen.com. You got to go check it out. Get to see these guys in person if you can. Before you go, Jeff, give me that one last video. Let's see one more tune.
I'm gonna have myself a good time. I'm singing the hoy and the time has come, sent shivers down my spine, body's aching all the time. Goodbye, everybody, I've got to go. Gotta leave you all behind, baby. Sometimes I wish I'd never been born at
Timeless, man. It's timeless. You guys are great.
Thank you so much,
Patrick. Thank you, my man.
Hey, it's been a pleasure. Take care. Thank you.
All right, my man.
Killer Queen, Patrick Meyer.
Fantastic.
I mean, we were saying that music is timeless, and it's just
it's
really.
It's like we were literally just talking to Freddie Mercury.
Pretty much.
I mean, he sings. It's fantastic.
And I love what he said about when you go to see a Killer Queen show. It's just like, if it's going to be the ultimate concert, that's what you're going to watch. The ultimate concert of your favorite band.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's great. Listen,
another
guys,
great show, man.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. Another great show. We got great shows coming up. I want to leave you with I got a little Phil's going to be singing in just a second. But first, I want to leave you with a little taste of Ronnie Platt, who's coming up in a few weeks, the lead singer of Kansas. Take a look at Ronnie, and then we got a couple of Phil tunes coming up for you guys.
Back to back.
Thank you so much. Great show. Stephen Bauer, Patrick Myers, Suki and Scott show. Lots of good news coming up from the show pretty soon, and we love you guys. Take a look.
all the others lost in the wind.
again?
Yeah, in the 70s, too?
Yeah.
They're gonna put me in the movies. They're gonna make a big star out of me. And we'll make a film about a man that's sad and lonely. And all I gotta do is act naturally. Well, I bet you I'm gonna be a big star. Might win an Oscar, you can never tell. The movie's gonna make me a big star, 'cause I can play the part so well. Well, I hope you come and see me in the movie. Then I'll know that you will plainly see the biggest fool that ever hit the big time. And all I gotta do is act naturally. We'll make a film about a man that's sad and lonely, begging down upon his bended knee. I'll play the part, but I won't need rehearsing, 'cause all I gotta do is act naturally. Well, I bet you I'm gonna be a big star. Might win an Oscar, you can never tell. The movie's gonna make me such a big star, 'cause I can play the part so well. Well, I hope you come and see me in the movie. Then I know that you will plainly see the biggest fool that ever hit the big time. Oh, and all I gotta do is act naturally. When your body's had enough of me and I'm laying flat out on the floor, when you think I've loved you all I can, I'm gonna love you a little bit more. Come on over here and lay by my side. I've got to be touching you. Let me rub your tired shoulders the way I used to do. Look into my eyes and give me that smile, the one that always turns me on. And let me take your hair down, 'cause we're staying up to greet the